All right, let's jump right in to this week's AI deep dive with some fascinating news curated by the AI guru herself, Chandra Mast, from Red Rose Appraisals out there in Lancaster County, PA.
Yeah.
And she can be found pretty easily on LinkedIn if you want to see what she's up to.
Yes.
But first, let's dive into the ocean.
Oh.
We're talking about an autonomous robot.
Oh, wow.
That's called ClearBot, and it uses AI to combat the massive plastic pollution problem that we have in the oceans. I mean, this is a problem that's just getting bigger and bigger.
Yes.
And it seems like it's, it is incredibly hard to keep up with.
It is, and it's something that requires a lot of different approaches, but this one is very interesting.
Yeah, so tell me about this. What makes this one so interesting to you?
Well, this ClearBot, it combines AI with cameras and sensors, so it's not just going through the ocean and picking up everything.
Oh, okay.
It can identify and target certain pollutants while navigating around marine life.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's more like a cleanup crew that is very, very specialized.
Yes.
As opposed to just a robotic trash collector just picking up everything.
Right, exactly.
That's great. And it can collect a significant amount of garbage. I was reading like 80 to 200 kilograms of pollution an hour.
Per hour.
Per hour.
Per hour. That's important.
That's a lot. And it runs on clean energy, too, so that's also a plus. So it's really kind of showing how AI can really kind of be a game changer when it comes to these large-scale problems that we're facing.
Right.
I mean, imagine trying to identify and collect all this different plastic waste that's spread across the ocean. That would be, it'd be impossible to do it manually.
It would.
I don't know how they would even begin to start that. So AI is really helping us approach this in a whole new way.
It is, and it's also providing a lot of data that we can use to understand the problem.
That's what I was going to ask about. Like, I bet the data that ClearBot collects is also really valuable.
Yes, absolutely. It helps pinpoint the sources. You have to know where it's coming from.
Right.
And then you can develop prevention strategies. So it's not just cleaning up, it's also preventing it from happening in the first place.
That's awesome. So we've got AI cleaning up our oceans, which is fantastic. Now let's move over to something a little bit different. How about advertising? What's happening in the world of AI in advertising?
Well, TikTok just rolled out a new platform.
Really?
Called Symphony Creative Studio. And this platform uses AI to generate video ads that are engaging.
So it takes some of the work off of the marketing people.
Well, in a way, yes. It automates and streamlines the creative process.
Oh, what, you just feed in like product information and URLs? And...
Exactly. You can feed it that information, and Symphony will use AI to generate different options for you. It takes inspiration from TikTok's top-performing videos.
Oh, wow. So it's learning from the best.
Yeah.
It even offers features like AI avatars and language translation, which is great for getting into those other markets, right?
Right. It can reach a wider audience that way.
So this is really interesting technology because it can help you break into those markets where maybe you wouldn't have the budget to hire translators and voiceover artists and that sort of thing. So I can definitely see the appeal there. And they're seeing some pretty positive results already. I think TikTok shared a case study where a drinkware brand called Miyoki saw significant increase in purchases and return on ad spend after using Symphony. So it's pretty compelling evidence that these AI-generated ads can actually be effective.
Yeah.
But I do wonder how people feel about it because, are we going to be bombarded
This is a concern
with all this AI-generated content without even realizing it?
Well, TikTok did say that they're going to be very transparent and label all the videos.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
At least they're being transparent. So as a consumer, you have that option. But it does bring up some broader questions, like what's the role of AI in this kind of content creation? And how do we as consumers perceive and interact with that content?
How does it affect our choices and how we think? Yeah.
Right. Because, I guess in the past, we knew that we were watching an advertisement, but if it's something that's created by an AI, do we know that it's an ad, or are we going to start to think that it's legitimate content or something? So there's some interesting...
There's a blurring of the lines.
Yeah, there's some real ethical considerations there.
So speaking of AI's role in different sectors, how about nuclear security? What's happening with that?
Well, this one was a surprise to me.
Really?
Anthropic, which is a company focused on AI safety, is collaborating with the National Nuclear Security Administration.
Wow. AI and nuclear weapons. This sounds pretty intense. What's the connection there?
Well, they are red teaming Anthropic's Claude AI models.
Okay. They're trying to see if these AI models can be manipulated to share dangerous information about nuclear weapons.
Oh.
So, in essence, they're testing the security and the safety of the system.
So they're trying to trick the AI, like trying to get the AI to give up some secrets.
You're right. Exactly.
Sounds like a spy movie.
Yes, it does. And they're testing the Claude 3 Sonnet and also the newer version, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which was just released in June. So they're seeing how they respond to different prompts and whether they can be exploited.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you really have to, I guess, attack it from every angle and see where it's weak. So this is an interesting, albeit maybe a little bit scary.
It's a little scary.
A little bit unnerving.
It is.
To think about AI being used in that way.
Right.
But I guess they're doing this testing to make sure that it's not misused.
Yeah.
So what have they found so far? Are they telling us what the results of this are?
They're keeping it confidential. It's the nature of the work. It's very sensitive information. But Anthropic, they believe this testing is very crucial for the responsible development of AI.
Right.
Because the more we understand the vulnerabilities, the more secure we can make it and prevent misuse.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a fascinating example of how AI is being used in a way that I don't think a lot of people really think about.
Right.
And it really highlights the need for that careful consideration, the testing.
Yes.
When it comes to AI development, especially in these really sensitive areas.
Especially in areas where the stakes are really high.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. So that brings us to another area where AI is playing a role, which is law enforcement and surveillance.
Yes.
And I know that we've seen this in the past, like with the predictive policing algorithms.
Right.
But it seems like these advancements are raising new concerns, like bias, privacy, potential misuse.
Exactly. You hit all the points. There's a new report out on carceral AI, and it argues that LLMs, the large language models, are bringing unprecedented scale, scope, and opacity.
Okay, now wait, what do they mean by opacity there?
Well, it refers to the fact that the systems, they're like black boxes. We don't really know how they're making the decisions.
Right.
What data they're using.
Okay.
What biases might be baked into the algorithms. So that lack of transparency makes it very hard to identify and address potential errors or unfair outcomes.
Yeah, if you can't see how it's working, how do you know it's being used fairly and ethically?
Exactly.
So it's not just a technical problem. It sounds like it's kind of a societal problem.
It is a societal problem. The report suggests that just trying to de-bias algorithms isn't enough.
Okay.
They say that all software, it reflects the values and biases of its creators. So even if you eliminate bias, there will always be subjectivity embedded in the systems.
Well, that's kind of a sobering thought, isn't it? So, I mean, this really does highlight the need for an ongoing dialogue.
Yes.
And some critical thinking about how we develop and deploy AI, especially in these sensitive areas like law enforcement.
Yes. I think it's critical that we do that.
So, wow, we've covered a lot of ground already today. From cleaning up the oceans to these AI-generated TikTok ads.
To different areas.
To nuclear threats. I mean, AI is clearly making its presence felt in pretty much every sector that we can think of.
It is.
And the pace of this is, the pace is just accelerating.
It is. It's really hard to keep up with.
It's really hard to keep up with. And that's why we're doing these deep dives for you guys.
Yeah, to break it down and make it understandable.
Yep.
Yeah. And it really is hard to keep up with. And speaking of that rapid innovation, let's talk about the AI search wars that are heating up.
This is a hot topic.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT just launched its web search feature.
Yes, they did.
Now they're directly going after Google.
They are.
I mean, ChatGPT is not just that fun chatbot that everybody was playing around with last year. This is getting serious now.
Yeah.
So how does this new feature work? And what does it mean for Google?
Well, ChatGPT's search, it provides fast answers with links to sources.
Okay.
It gives descriptions of the sites it's pulling from.
Okay.
And offers related content.
Okay, so it's
kind of like what you would expect from a search engine, I guess.
Right. And Google, they're not just sitting back.
I mean, they'd be foolish to...
Right. They would be foolish to... They recently launched something called Grounding with Google Search for their Gemini API and AI Studio.
Okay.
So it's a way for them to make sure that the AI models are providing accurate and reliable information.
So it's kind of a double check.
It is a double check.
Yeah, to make sure that the AI isn't just making things up.
Yes, maintaining that trust is paramount in the search world.
Of course.
And they want to establish themselves as reliable sources in this age of AI.
It's interesting to see how these two powerhouses
are approaching this. And everybody's trying to get their piece of the pie. But it's not just a two-horse race, is it?
No, it is not. What about Claude?
Yeah, Claude and Meta.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Claude has a new desktop app.
Oh, okay.
And a voice dictation feature.
Oh, wow.
So it makes it easier for users to incorporate Claude into their workflow.
So you don't even have to type anymore. You can just talk to it.
You can just talk to it, right?
I mean, sometimes typing does feel a little old school.
It does.
When you can just say what you want and the AI can handle the rest.
Exactly. And then you have Meta claiming victory in the AI assistant arena.
Oh, really?
Mark Zuckerberg announced that Meta's AI assistant is the world's most used in 2024.
Wow.
Surpassing 500 million users.
500 million.
That's a lot of users.
That is a lot of users. That's incredible.
It is.
So AI assistance is really becoming a part of our everyday lives.
It really is.
But with so many players vying for this dominance.
Yes.
I mean, what does this mean for the future of search?
It's hard to say, but we are definitely on the cusp of a major transformation. The way we search for information, the way we consume content, even the way advertising works.
Oh, yeah.
It's all going to be impacted by AI.
It's pretty exciting and a little bit daunting to think about.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, we've got all of these possibilities.
Yes.
But what are the challenges that are going to come along with it?
Exactly.
But let's not forget about the other advancements in AI beyond search.
Right.
You mentioned Boston Dynamics earlier.
Yes.
Those guys that make those really agile robots.
Yes. They just demonstrated a fully autonomous Atlas robot.
Oh, wow.
That can perform tasks without any human intervention.
No human intervention.
None.
This is like those robots that we saw doing parkour a couple years ago.
Yes.
That was amazing.
This is taking it a step further.
So this is next level. They can do really intricate tasks now.
Yes. Very dexterous.
Yeah. It really does make you think about the future of work.
Yes, it does.
Like, if these robots can do this stuff autonomously, what happens to the human jobs?
Right. What happens to us?
Yeah, this is a conversation that we need to be having now as this technology is advancing so quickly.
Absolutely.
And while we're pondering the future of work, let's move on to another development.
Yeah.
Recraft's V3 AI model.
Oh, yes. Red Panda.
Red Panda.
Yes.
So cute.
Very cute.
I love it. So this is interesting because it aced the recent image generation tests.
It did.
So it's really good at creating realistic, detailed images.
Yes.
But it goes beyond just the visuals.
It does.
It can generate text.
Yes.
It can handle graphic design tasks.
Yes.
So this is like having an AI artist.
It is.
And a writer all in one.
Multi-talented.
That's amazing.
It is.
So what are the implications of this? I mean, this is a really powerful tool.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Artists, writers, designers using it to explore new ideas, streamline their workflow.
Push the boundaries.
Yes. And Recraft made it accessible to developers through an API.
So we can expect a lot of new apps.
Oh, yeah.
Innovations coming out that are going to use this.
Yes. It's like a whole new world.
Yeah, it really is.
It's an exciting time.
It is exciting.
To be following AI.
Yeah.
We're seeing groundbreaking advancements.
Yeah, we are.
It's hard to predict where it's going to lead.
It is.
But one thing is for sure.
What's that?
The future is going to be shaped by AI.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that comes with a whole host of questions.
Yes, it does.
I mean, with these advancements come the ethics, the responsibility, the impact on society.
Absolutely.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yeah, it is a lot to think about.
Yeah, a lot to wrap our heads around.
I mean, we have these amazing advancements that could solve all kinds of problems.
Right.
And really make our lives better.
Right.
But then you have the ethical considerations and jobs being displaced and making sure that AI is being used responsibly.
It is a balancing act.
It is.
And I think it's a conversation that needs to involve everybody.
I agree.
Not just those working in the field.
Right. We all have a stake in this.
You do.
And it's really important that we all stay informed.
Yes, stay engaged.
Exactly. And speaking of staying informed, I think it's worth circling back to those AI search wars for just a minute, because we were talking about ChatGPT and Google.
Right.
But we shouldn't overlook what Claude's doing.
Yeah. Claude's doing some very interesting things, too.
Right, with their desktop app.
Yes, and that voice dictation feature.
Right. It's really showing how they're focusing on that user experience.
They are. They're trying to make it easier for people to use.
Yeah, it does make it a lot easier to use to
Yes.
integrate it into your day-to-day routine.
Exactly. And it seems like that's where things are heading,
It does.
making these AI assistants as accessible as possible.
Right, as user-friendly as possible.
Yes. Remove the barriers, make
Yeah.
it easier for people to interact.
And I think that that's probably the key
It is.
to getting mass adoption.
It is. And we see that with Meta.
Yeah.
They have the world's most used AI assistant now.
Right. Over 500 million users.
Over 500 million.
That just shows how quickly this technology is being adopted.
It does.
So, I mean, what do you think this is going to mean for how we access information, how we consume content?
I think it's going to change everything.
Yeah.
Even how we interact with businesses.
Absolutely.
It's really a paradigm shift.
It is.
I mean, we can't predict everything.
Right.
But AI is going to play an increasingly important role in our lives.
Both personally and professionally.
It's in every aspect.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
With all this progress that's happening with AI,
Right.
with all the good that could come out of it and all the potential risks,
Yes.
what are your biggest hopes and concerns for the future of AI?
That is a tough question.
It is.
Well, I hope we can use AI to solve some of our biggest challenges.
Right.
Climate change.
Yeah.
Healthcare education.
Absolutely.
But I worry about the misuse.
Yeah.
I worry about the gap between those who have access
and those who don't.
It's an important point.
And I worry about unintended consequences.
It's a very complex and constantly evolving landscape.
It is.
But I think we can all agree that these advancements are happening so quickly.
They are.
We have to stay informed.
We do.
We have to be engaged.
Yes.
And really try to work together.
Collaborate.
Yeah, to make sure that AI is used ethically.
Yes.
And for the good of humanity.
I think that's a great way to end it.
Huge thank you to Chandra Mas,
Yeah.
the AI guru, for curating this week's news for us. Be sure to check her out on LinkedIn if you want to learn more about what's happening in the world of AI.
Yes, she is a wealth of information.
Until next time, stay curious.
And stay informed.
Bye, everybody.